everyone that gets seen on the show, and I'll talk about that in a minute, above the average person, and it's a little bit of a bizarre occurrence that happens. You don't change, the person that you are doesn't change, your knowledge doesn't change, but because you're out there and speaking in an authoritative manner to folks, you go up the ladder a little bit. You become a little bit more important. You become a minor star in some people's eyes. And you become, there are some folks who are actually surprised to see you out in public, you know, buying food. But that interaction where you come down from that place of I'm being authoritative and I'm speaking to you on this topic, which I know a lot about, and saying, hey, you're my fan, you're important to me, and talking to them about whatever about the topic they want to talk about, or focusing on something they want to focus on, or mentioning them during a show, does a great deal to connect that person to your show. Because then it's more than just a show they watch. It becomes their show. And they become invested in wanting to be a part of the program in a greater way. And part of that becoming part of the program is telling other people about it. The more people who know about it, watch. When it comes to personalities, which is something that I just mentioned, you do want to have either someone or someones on camera who have a bit of a persona which is created for the audience. That persona does not need to be that far from who you actually are. But when you are creating a web program of some sort, you are, in addition to selling the knowledge and selling the information, you are selling yourself and your ability to relay that information. In addition to the data that you're giving out, people become invested in you. I'm going to take a quick moment. I see people nodding a little bit. Is it because it's really
hot in this room, yeah.
Okay. Does anyone care if I open up the door? Because I'm getting a little melty myself.
Go right ahead.
Cool.
Please do.
It's like 15 degrees cooler in the hallway. For
Yeah,
some reason.
it is extremely warm in here, and we need to get some fresh air. Yeah. I totally didn't believe that you guys were drooping off on me. It is freaking hot in here. There. That should help. Engaging with my audience. Personalities. In addition to engaging with the content matter that you are presenting, people begin to engage with the folks who are part of whatever program you're creating. They become interested in seeing you on the air in addition to what you have to say. You become a trusted individual in whatever your topic is, and they come to trust and respect and look forward to seeing you there on the screen. So cultivating that persona to a certain degree is a good idea. Having that person that you are, even if that person isn't that different from who you are every day, is an important thing to think about, because you don't want real life you and persona you to clash in a bad way. Some people separate the two, where they've got, you know, a personal life and the life of the person that people get to see on their show. Some people integrate them fairly well. I mean, I am not all that, I don't believe myself all that important for a lot of folks. So if they're following me because they like the programs that I've worked on, then they get to see who I am, and they get to see some of my interests outside of my geeky stuff. But on top of that, I have never personally sworn on my Facebook or my Twitter. I occasionally post something where someone else swears, and I warn people that there's cussing ahead. But in thinking about the fact that there's a personality to cultivate when you're making a show like this, and there are going to be some people who are interested in who you are, you've got to be prepared for that. Now there are some people who, as a personality that they create, enjoy having, cussing up a storm, making inappropriate jokes, because that's the personality they created. It's entirely how you want to build it. And a lot of people don't think about this particular aspect when they're making a show, because it doesn't come into your mind. You think, I'm just going to talk about something that I love. But when you talk about something that you love and you become good at it, you become more than just what you're talking about. You become the spokesman for what you're talking about. And you want to have a positive connection with that information. Now, the nitty-gritty of what someone needs in order to produce a geek media show. You need an interested group of people who want to produce the show. That can be yourself, that can be yourself and a group of friends. If you don't feel like you have a personality that you can present, but you know other people who you believe can, you get them involved. You bring the people who you think are going to be passionate about it and who are going to be able to make it happen together. So you need the people who want to do it. And once you have that, all of the other barriers go away. Because as long as you want to do this, it'll happen. It doesn't matter if you've got a shoestring budget or if you find a benefactor with millions of dollars to get you a state-of-the-art television station. You're able to make this stuff happen just by having a group of people passionate enough to want to do it. Next step is to decide how you want the information to disseminate. Do you want audio? Do you want video? Do you want it mixed into a blog format? How do you want this information to sort of come together and grow? That is entirely dependent on your group, your subject matter, what you think will work. Once you've figured out what you want your media to be, you need equipment that's appropriate for the media. If you're going to do a video program, you're going to need a video camera. You're going to need a computer that can do some basic editing so you can make a program that looks well cut together and well built. And you're going to need some expertise on how to put that onto the web, either using a site like YouTube or Blip TV or Vimeo, and those are all personal comfort questions. If you're going to be an audio person, you're going to want microphones above and beyond what you got with your computer, something that will make your voice sound at least passable to folks at home, as well as the equipment to take any microphone data together and cut it into a solid program. If you're going to do a mix of things, then you want a mix of that equipment. Now I did mention that I work with community television. And I'm going to take a slight self-promotional step at this point to mention that a route that not a lot of people think about when they're producing geek media programming is to go to their local community station and talk to them about producing some sort of production through that access center. The reason most local stations exist is to be able to give people access to equipment that they wouldn't necessarily be able to get on their own. These stations have thousands of dollars that they get through folks who are paying for cable. Cable company gives a certain amount of their profits to a municipality, and that locality gives that money to the Access Center. Then the Access Center takes that money and puts it into equipment and training, and allows people who don't have that equipment at home to be able to have access to that equipment and that power of communication. So if you're interested, especially if you're doing something in video, but even if you're not interested in video, you're interested in building something in audio, it might be worth your time to go to your local Access Center and see what your options are. Most of them are non-for-profit, so there's some rules that you have to follow in exchange. And most of them require that if you're making a show with their equipment, that it has to go on their channel. Because part of the exchange is the equipment is there so that they can make TV. But if you think about it, it's another place your show wouldn't have been before. And you've got the training of however many years of combined experience are in that building. Depending on, some Access Centers are a question